All right, we've installed VirtualBox on a Windows operating system. We have created our first virtual machine and we have installed Ubuntu desktop on it. The next feature I wanted to talk about is snapshots. A snapshot is a point in time state of a virtual machine, and you can go back to this point in time state in your virtual machine. What this means is, if you've done something on your virtual machine that has made your virtual machine not working, you can go back to that snapshot and go back to the working state again. An example would be if you wanted to upgrade your operating system. So you want to upgrade your operating system. Before you started the upgrade, you've taken a snapshot of the virtual machine. You've started the upgrade. After the upgrade or within the process, you figured out that it's a failure and your virtual machine isn't working anymore. You can restore to the snapshot that you took before you started the upgrade, and voila, your virtual machine's working again. Nice, eh? A snapshot consists of three main things: a complete copy of VM settings, including the hardware configuration, a complete state of all virtual disks attached to the machine, and finally, if you took a snapshot while the machine was running, the memory state of the machine. Now, the second part is very important. Let's say you're writing a project report, right? You're writing a project report, you've dedicated 4 hours on that project report, and later that night you've started your upgrade, right? And you figured out that sometimes later you figured out that the upgrade has given you a feature that you don't really want. You don't like the upgrade, so you want to go back, but it's been some days before after you've done your upgrade. So you worked on your project report, and now instead of 4 hours of time on your project report, you've spent 12 hours of time creating that project report, and instead of 40 pages, let's say it's 100 pages. You figured out, I want to go back to my earlier version of this software, and so you've restored to the snapshot you took before the upgrade. Now what would happen is, you've lost the data. So all that data, the extra effort that you put on your project report after the snapshot was created, all that's gone. So that's something you need to keep in mind. There's a thing you can do to save all that data, and I will show you that as well. But first, let's create our first snapshot. So to do that, we need to go back to our VirtualBox. This is the virtual machine we created. It is in shutdown mode right now. There are two types of snapshots. Online snapshots are created when the virtual machine is running, and offline snapshots are created when the virtual machine is in shutdown state. So as you can see, I've got a few snapshots already. I'm going to delete those. Now, the way I can take a snapshot is I can go to Machine Tools and Snapshots, and I can click on Current State and Take, and I'm going to name it Fresh Install. So basically a handy tip, what I do is, normally whenever I create a virtual machine and install operating system on it, I take a snapshot called Fresh Install, and that gives me a clean slate. Because in my lab systems, if I stuff up and for some reason I have to go back to the original state, I can go back to this snapshot. I don't have to create a new virtual machine and install the operating system again. That just saves me some time. So I can click OK now, and that's created me a snapshot named Fresh Install. Now what we can do is, we can power on the virtual machine and we'll do some changes, and then we'll restore to the snapshot called fresh install, and that's going to demonstrate what we were just talking about regarding the files and hardware configurations and everything. One more thing, snapshots are created in a hierarchy. If I go to my servers, this was the original snapshot I took. This is the snapshot I took after the original snapshot, and this is the current state of machine. So you can follow the hierarchy and see which snapshots were taken at what days, times. The earliest would always be at the top, the latest would be at the bottom. So going back to our virtual machine, now we can open the open source office application I have. And while this opens up, we can go to applications and we'll change some settings in the virtual machine. So we'll go to settings, should be here, I just can't see it here. Okay, I can go to background, we'll change the background image. Click on background, I'll click on this. So adjust window size, will adjust my window size to fit my screen. So I can click on this image, I can click select. So this is my background image. Now I can go to settings. So you can see I've changed my background image, and I can create my project report. Yep, and I can save it in my documents. I can go save. That's it. So you can see I've changed my background image and I've saved my document. Right here, saved my document. So now I can go shut down my virtual machine, and what we'll do after this is we'll restore our snapshot to the original. So current state says changed, obviously, because we've changed the current state of the virtual machine from the snapshot. We can go fresh install and we can restore to that snapshot. Now this is very important. If I keep it checked, it's going to create a new snapshot of this state, current state, before it restores to fresh install. But if I untick it, it will not do that. So I'll keep it ticked. We'll click on restore. We'll say change state, or rather we can say snapshot 2. I'll click OK. So I've got fresh install. Now I've got snapshot 2. And my current state is not changed because I'm on fresh install. So I'll boot up my virtual machine. Now you can see, because I changed to fresh install, my background's back to what it was when I took fresh install. If I go to files, and documents, my file's lost. So now I can shut down the machine again, and I can go back to my second snapshot, and I'll get my file back. So I'll click on snap to restore. I don't want to create a snapshot this time. I'll click on restore. Once I've done that, now did you see this? This changed from fresh install to snapshot 2. Well, that's telling us what was the snapshot that it was last restored. So if I click on start, that should boot up my virtual machine. So as you can see, my desktop background is same as what it was when we took the second snapshot, and I bet you my file would be there as well. Yep, our project report's there. So that concludes this lecture. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next lecture. Bye.